Hello, everybody. This is Coda the dog and Miss E coming at you from the music room. And we are going to have a fantastic time reading a story today called The Leprechaun Who Lost His Rainbow. Now, Coda might sit with us for a little bit and she might head out, but we're going to always keep her right here with us as long as we can to help us read our story today. The Leprechaun Who Lost His Rainbow. In the soft drizzle that was falling on St. Patrick's Day, Colleen wished her grandfather good luck. He gave her a piece of red licorice, her favorite candy, and then he was off to the parade to play the bagpipes. Let's listen to bagpipes, hear what they sound like. Her grandfather had told Colleen that the notes that he and his bandmates played were like colors on the air, colors only your ears could see. Playing music is like building a rainbow, he said. A little man I once knew taught me that. Now I'm looking for a little man in the picture. Can you find him? I spy with my little eye. There he is there. Do we know what that little man might be called? If you said leprechaun, you're right. Her mom and dad were going to watch the parade from the window, but Colleen sat on the porch under her yellow umbrella. What if it rained so much that everyone went home and no one heard her grandfather's bagpipes? That would be a shame. His music was so beautiful and so sad it made people smile and cry at once. To pass the time, she played a song on her green penny whistle, which had a tiny shamrock printed on it. Her grandfather had brought it all the way from Ireland. It was her favorite thing in the whole world, and she never let anybody touch it. So a penny whistle is a lot like a recorder, except it's a little smaller and it plays higher pitches. When she finished the tune, she took a bite of her licorice. Just then, a little man appeared on the top step. It was a leprechaun. I like your penny whistle, the little man said. You play very well. Colleen started to say thank you when suddenly the leprechaun jumped into the air and took the licorice stick right out of her mouth. He dropped it into his hat. Thank you, he said. I'll be needing that for my name's not Roy G. Biv. It's just the shade of red I'm looking for. Colleen was shocked. What are you doing? She shouted. Give me my candy. The leprechaun frowned. Your grandfather was much more helpful. You know my grandfather? Colleen asked. Yes, we created a rainbow together back when he was a boy, Mr. Biv explained. Colleen was puzzled. Could this be the little man her grandfather talked about? Mr. Biv looked glum. I've lost my rainbow again, and my gold is at the end of it. To be a leprechaun in good standing, I must have gold, so I need someone's help to build a rainbow, he paused. That someone is you. Colleen frowned. Leprechauns were tricky. Everyone knew that. Could Mr. Biv be telling the truth? Let me show you something, the leprechaun said. Spin round with the hat and watch what happens. She twirled around, holding the hat with the hat, and watch what happens. Oh, she twirled around, holding the hat. Suddenly, a streak of bright red shot, just the color of her licorice, sprang out of the hat, hung in the air for a moment, and then disappeared. Colleen was amazed. See, Mr. Bibb said, we're starting to make a rainbow. And if there's a rainbow, the sun will come out to shine on the parade. Colleen took a deep breath. What do we do? For every color, I need something that belongs to you. Something red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. Colleen looked around. There was her new orange basketball. She hated to give it up, but she tossed it into Mr. Bibb's hat. Immediately, an orange streak shot up. She gave him her yellow umbrella, yellow curved under the orange. When her blue ribbons went in, A beautiful blue appeared. Next to go was her indigo headband. And finally, her favorite, violet scarf. Now there was a rainbow of colors coming out of the hat, but something was wrong. Right between the yellow and blue, there was an empty space. Colleen knew which color was missing. Yes, we need green, Mr. Bibb said. And not just any green, Colleen. It's a very hard color to find, which is why rainbows are so rare. It was raining harder. The parade goers were starting to leave. Colleen was nervous. What would the leprechaun want? You're going to have to make one more sacrifice, lass, Mr. Bibb said. I'm going to need your penny whistle with a shamrock on it. That green is the last perfect color I need from a rainbow. Colleen started to cry. No, she said, clutching her precious penny whistle. My grandfather gave it to me. But Colleen, dear, if you give me the penny whistle, you and I can make the sun shine on the parade and on your grandfather, said Mr. Bibb pleadingly. Colleen held the penny whistle to her lips and blew one last sad note. She paused and then she dropped the penny whistle into the leprechaun's hat. In a flash, the rain stopped. The sun burst through the clouds, and a rainbow, complete with the most beautiful shade of green ever, spread across the sky. The parade goers gazed up in wonder, and Colleen's grandfather began to play the bagpipes. The music was so beautiful and sad, the people smiled and cried at once. Nobody noticed that a pot of gold had appeared at the end of the rainbow, right on Colleen's front lawn. Roy G. Biv dug his hand into the pot of gold and pulled out a flute that looked just like Colleen's penny whistle. But this wasn't a toy flute. It was a real one, made of silver. And there was a shamrock on it that looked like Colleen's. Only this one was made of emeralds. Thanks for sharing this with me, Mr. Biv, he said as he handed Colleen the flute. And with that, he and his pot of gold were gone. Colleen's grandfather stood in front of her. Who is that you were talking with? He asked. Roy G. Biv, she said. He's a leprechaun. I thought I recognized him, her grandfather said. He gave me this flute, Grandpa. Ah, 'tis a nice one, silver, just like my bagpipes. Want to play a tune? What do you say we play a tune? So together they played. When Irish eyes are smiling, the colors danced on air. The end. Now let's talk about that song, When Irish Eyes Are Smiling. Let's take a look at a couple things that might help us today. Scooch Miss E over. First of all, bagpipes. Let's take a look at what bagpipes look like. Absolutely. Now, if you have ever seen a bagpipe before, or if you haven't, we have to first know that this is from the woodwind family, because you're definitely going to be blowing into it. And this sack down here is where all the air comprises and holds. And then when you blow, the air comes back out these sounds, and you cover up the little holes like a recorder to get the sounds you want. Here's our bagpipes again. Bagpipes can be very loud. And here's a penny whistle. So you can see the difference between the penny whistle and Miss E's recorder. They're very similar. They have holes in the front. They have the big opening here at the top and the place that you blow in at the top as well, but smaller. And if it's smaller, that means that the pitches are going to be higher. Let's take a look at Roy G. Biv. Why was the leprechaun named Roy G. Biv? Well, he was doing something called a mnemonic, a way for us to remember the colors of the rainbow. Let's take a look. We've got red, Roy, orange, yellow. That's his first name. Green is his middle initial, and his last name, Biv, blue, indigo, violet. And as you can see, those are the colors of the rainbow as well. That's pretty cool. Let's take a look at our song, When Irish Eyes Are Smiling. Now, this is just the refrain of the song, so we're not going to be looking at the verse. Let's start with the refrain, and let's see if I can show you how to sing it a little bit. Listen. When Irish eyes are smiling, sure 'tis like a morning spring. In the lilt of Irish laughter, you can hear the angels sing. When Irish eyes are happy, all the world seems bright and gay. And when Irish eyes are smiling, sure they steal your heart away. Thank you again for joining Coda and I for Leprechaun Who Lost His Rainbow and talking a little bit about colors of the rainbow. Don't forget Roy G. Biv to remember the color order and hearing what bagpipes were all about and hearing this wonderful story about leprechauns. Coda's right over there and she's signing off too. Have a wonderful day and come see us again.